With the 10th anniversary of the September 11th tragedy drawing near, Atlantic Stage performs the production The Guys by Ann Nelson. It's a touching, true story of a fire captain who lost 8 of his men in the collapse of the World Trade Center. Thom Penn joins us from Atlantic Stage. Thank you, Thom.
Thank you.
You're directing this production,
I
and
am.
the first question, you selected this production and why?
Well, I've been thinking about this piece for the last couple of years, knowing that this anniversary was drawing near, and thinking that this is an important event for all of us. Whether we were in New York at the time, no matter where we were as Americans, this is an event that changed all of our lives. And I wanted to find some theatrical way to commemorate the event. And this play was written shortly after the actual event. It's based, as you said, on a true story. And so I thought that it would be a good way to remind us of the event, to help us remember not to take for granted the first responders who sacrifice so much for us every day, and a way to do that theatrically, which is what I do. So it's a way for me to help and be a part of remembering this particular event.
Tell me about the characters in this play.
Well, Nick is a fire captain who lost 8 men in the World Trade Center collapse, and has to write eulogies for them, and has no idea how to go about doing that. He's not a writer, and he's, as he says, been sitting in front of a blank sheet of paper just not knowing what to do. And he, through a various series of connections, gets hooked up with a former reporter, now editor, who agrees to help him write these eulogies. Her name is Joan, and she's the woman, she's actually based on the playwright. The playwright who wrote the play, Ann Nelson, was the journalist in this story. And she had been struggling with not being able to help. She had this profound sense of loss and grief that all of us felt after that event, and also helplessness, because they weren't accepting blood. There was no need for blood. She couldn't obviously go down to the site and move debris. And so here she was, a New Yorker who was profoundly affected by this event but had no real way to help. And suddenly this opportunity presented itself. And the play takes us through the course of an afternoon where the two of them work together on helping each other cope with the grief, loss, and helplessness of this event by writing these eulogies together.
How has this process as a director been different from your other directing opportunities?
Well, I've directed comedies with Atlantic Stage up to this point, so the material obviously is very different. It's heavy, and but it's not been as difficult as I thought it would be, because of the nature of this event, and because we were all so profoundly influenced by it, that we all have a connection to it sort of automatically, just by virtue of the fact that we're Americans and we're alive when it happened. And so we, all three of us, Jen and David and I, have been able to easily connect to the material and work together through it to tell the story.
So many people have strong memories about this life-changing event. What do you expect from the audience when they come see the show?
It may be very difficult for some people to watch, but I think it's important enough for us to just remember it. We tend to become numb to things like this over time. We forget, and I know 10 years isn't a long time, but it's important, I think, to let potential audience members know that the playwright, in her notes at the beginning of the play, actually has said that her intention in writing this play was not to reopen any wounds, not to hurt or wound the audience in any way, but simply to look at the event from a different perspective, the human element of the tragedy, and these two people simply floundering to try to find a way to deal with it, and they end up helping each other.
Would you say it's what we actors do best, and it's what we are proud of, is the empathy part of our job?
Yes, it's the primary job of the actor, is to be able to understand the character that they have to inhabit for a limited period of time. And David and Jen are doing a phenomenal job of really getting inside these people and learning what it is that makes them tick, and presenting a really moving tribute to this event to the audience, I think. I'm excited about the results we've had so far in the rehearsal hall.
And Thom, with the guys, Atlantic Stage is doing something a little different this year. You're giving back, per se. That's
right. We found a way to give back to the community with all of our productions this season. And we're starting with The Guys. All of our opening night proceeds for each of our 6 productions will go to a local charity that hopefully we can link thematically with the show. And so for this first show, the opening night performance on September 9th, all of those proceeds will go to the Horry County Firefighters Relief Fund as a way of Atlantic Stage, as a nonprofit charity organization, to give back to the community that's supporting us. So we're very excited about that opportunity as well.
How wonderful. So we need to be there on opening night.
Indeed. September 9th, 7:30.
We'll be there. Thank you, Thom.
Thanks.